Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be going over the top 10 best limited item hordes based on how much they influence the item, how major they are, and lastly the amount of value the horde is worth. And the horde has to be at least 4+ copies owned by one person or else I won't count it, and deleted hordes do not count as well. So as we know, hordes that affect items the most are rare or semi items, so the majority of this list will be rare/semi items. Now before I list anything, I just want to explain what a horde is. So a horde is when someone owns 2 or more of one Roblox item. That means you have a horde of it. And though there are a lot of hordes on Roblox, there are certain hordes that are way more effective and just better than others. Here are the top 10, but first, let's start with honorable mention number 1, my Shattered Horde. So I might be a little bit biased, but I own 20 Shattereds, which is worth 130k, and pretty much because of me is the reason why we got a 30k raise. So while there are other good hordes, since I'm listing 15 including 5 honorable mentions, I think this definitely deserves to be an honorable mention. The number 2 honorable mention is the Pixel Horde. It is a very large horde of 44 by Atzo. The reason why it's not higher on this list is because Pixel, even with that big of a horde, isn't like great. It's just pretty good. And when it has 44 hoarded, it should be much better. The number 3 honorable mention is the Venom Shank Horde. Borgerist, or however you say his name, has 20 of them. He is a very rich user, and Venom Shake has gotten a lot better since he got the horde. And it went from a decent but struggling rare to a really good rare, mainly because of his horde. Honorable mention number 4 is the NGCC Horde, and that I think is owned by Poseidon. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure who owns it, but it's a really solid horde, and the item is super rare because of the horde. Its available copies and premium copies are amazing, literally just because of the horde. It was originally hoarded by Doxed, but then he traded it to Poseidon. I think Poseidon still owns it, and it is being carried by this horde, and it recently just rose because of it. The last honorable mention is the MPICC Horde, owned by Shade the Mighty, who owns 42 of them. His horde is the reason why MPICC is so rare. His horde is the reason why Neon Pink Crazy Crown is so rare. And even though it hasn't risen a lot, it's super rare and it's tough to get your hands on it, and it's mainly because of the horde. Without the horde, its available copies and premium copies would be in a terrible spot. So this horde is definitely good enough to make the honorable mentions. Now number 10 is the Red Wrath Horde, owned by a value changer named Jacko. Even though he doesn't own like a ton of them, he's the reason why the item is good in the first place. It was literally unvalued. It was 34k wrap unvalued in a rare item without his horde, and with his horde it is now 150k value and gets super good overpays. So even though his horde isn't like spectacular, it had such an impact on the item and his value that it is 100% good enough to make this list. The number 9 horde is the Nth Horde, owned by another value changer. This horde is very good because Nth was always like a struggling rare, just stuck at 100k, never could get past that. And now it's at 230k and it keeps on raising. Again, not like a super huge, super amazing horde, but it is easily good enough to make the top 10, and it has really been helpful for the item. Now the number 8 horde is hoarded by 2 people, V_R and Bariza, and they own combined 30 of it. And it only came out with 100 total copies, so it makes PM very rare. But not just that, it makes it the most expensive immortal sword. Number 7 is the Death Horde. Someone on his alternate account owns a ton of deaths, and death has a really solid circulation and it does really good, and it's been good for quite a while, and is only because of this horde. Without this horde, the item would be dead. Without this horde, this item would not even be 100k, and it would be a failing rare. But with this horde, the item is just super good. And just to know how important this horde is for the item, when someone started a rumor that their hoarder was releasing, even though he is not, death started to slow down significantly. Number 6, the Red Balloon Horde. This is owned by another value changer in Rolimons named Rios, and even though he doesn't own a ton of them, it is quite a big item. So far in this list, this is the smallest horde, but he had a huge impact on the item. He got his horde when the item was around 100k, something like that, and now it's worth 550k. and it's very rare, has a nice circulation, and it just keeps on raising. And it recently, like a few months ago, rose 150k. The only reason why it's not higher on this list is because the horde itself is pretty small. Even though he made a ton of profit from it, since the horde is only 10, it can't crack the top 5. Number 5 horde, and now the smallest horde on this list up to this point, is the Tough Guy Cap Horde. And the Tough Guy Hat Horde is owned by Arcade Rockstar. He owns 9 of them, and Tough Guy Cap has been one of the best rares over 1 million for a while now. And it's always been like a decent 300k rare for some time, but this horde really took it over the top, and now it's worth 1.8 million, and it keeps on doing phenomenal. Tough Guy Cap always needed a smaller horde just to get it going, and once this horde was made, this item just did amazing. Tough Guy Cap is one of the best rares under 2 million right now. The number 4 horde is the Golden Spiriton Horde. This horde is owned by another Rolling Mon staff member, Flakies, and it's owned on his account, Size. Now, while it is just 10, it makes this item almost impossible to actually get a hold of. There's only 1 or 2 in circulation, and it gets 1.8 million overpays. So while it's only 700k value, it's more like a 2 million value item, and because of his horde, Golden Spiriton is just so good, and it is 100% a top 5 horde on Roblox. Number 3 horde is the New Year's Crown 2012 horde. Now, I'm not sure if this horde is deleted or not. I'm pretty sure it's not deleted. So this item is extremely OP. It is super good, and it is completely carried by this horde. So at one point, NYC died really hard because this horde actually got released because the hoarder got beamed, and it died really hard. And from what I'm pretty sure happened is that the guy actually ended up rollbacking and getting his stuff back. That's why this is on the list, because I'm pretty sure it's not terminated. I could be wrong, but if it is not terminated, then this is 100% a top 3 horde on Roblox. Number 2 horde on Roblox is the Link Sword Horde. This is owned on somebody's ult account. This is just an absurdly good horde of 15 Link Swords, and the item Link Sword has just done so good, and is mainly because of this horde. This horde has absolutely killed the circulation item, and now only has 2 copies in circulation and hasn't been traded in 2 months. It recently had a 500k raise, so it went from 500k to 1 million value, and it is still super OP. It could probably pull 1 million overpays still, and without this horde, this item would not be nearly as good. This is probably a 35 million value horde if he were to downgrade it all. That's why this is a number 2 horde on Roblox. Sadly for everyone else, there's one horde bigger, and that is the Orange Sparkle Time Fedora Horde. Owned by the developer Build Into Games, he owns 20 of them. There have been much bigger hordes I've listed so far in this video. Even my horde is 20, but there's a difference. Orange Sparkle Time Fedora is 3 million value and almost 7 million wrap. Now his horde made Orange Sparkle Time Fedora go from like 1.3 million value and just average, one of the least wanted, least favorited Sparkle Times out of them all. And it made OSTF a 3 million value item that gets huge overpays. OSTF simply had too big of circulation, and this horde killed its circulation and makes this item way better. Now, I actually had a tough time putting this at 1 because he invested so much Robux into this horde, it barely made him any profit. But this horde is just so sickeningly good and has so much value put into it that it has to be number 1. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'm gonna be back with more videos similar to this. And if you guys have any hordes that I may have missed, that might have been privated that I don't know about, please put in the comments. And that's it. Bye.